Hi, hello, everybody. I'm Justin. This is Koopa. Welcome to Koopa's Corner. Today we're going to talk about Tiffany Stratton, new WWE Women's Champion. Last night on Smackdown, it was Nia Jax versus Naomi for the WWE Women's Championship. Nia Jax has held this title since SummerSlam, right? She won the title at SummerSlam. She won the opportunity to fight for the title at SummerSlam by winning Queen of the Ring tournament. So Nia Jax has had a nice run with the title until last night on SmackDown. She's facing Naomi for the title. Naomi has Bianca Belair in her corner. Nia Jax has Candice LeRae in hers. Notable by her absence, Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton. As the match progresses, Tiffany Stratton comes running down to the ring, briefcase in hand, referee in tow, and she teases cashing in, as she has done oh so many times before. Right? This has been a big part of her story. Her failure to take advantage, her failure to cash in, so much so that Nia Jax has even started giving her a hard time for her being unable to do so. Well, she throws the referee over the barricade so that the cash-in doesn't happen. She comes in, she hits Naomi with the briefcase, allowing Nia Jax to set her up for the Annihilator and get the win. 1, 2, 3. Instead of cashing in, she helped her friend, as she has done so many times before. And then in the post-match, there's a bit of chaos, right? Bit of chaos. And Tiffany Stratton hits Nia Jax with the briefcase. Bianca Belair hits Nia Jax with the KOD. Candice LeRae gets chucked out of the ring. Bianca Belair gets checked out of the ring. And the referee is crawled back over the barricade, and Tiffany's like, cash it in, cash it in. She climbs up to the top, hits the prettiest moonsault ever, and 1, 2, 3. We have a new WWE Women's Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton has been poised to win this title for a long time. She has steadily grown in popularity. She has steadily grown in the ring, and she is the future. Now, this cash-in was very strategic, right? It's not just on a random episode of SmackDown. It was the first SmackDown of the year. It was the first SmackDown on USA that was 3 hours long. And it was the last episode of WWE programming before they debut Monday Night Raw on Netflix, which is just this upcoming Monday. Right? So now, coming out of this episode of SmackDown, people are talking. People like me on this channel, we're talking about Tiffany Stratton. There's a little bit of buzz about the WWE and about the new women's champion. And if people are talking ahead of such a big episode, there's going to be some people who are like, you know what, maybe I will tune in Monday night after all, just to see what all this is about. So it was very, very strategic when they did this. However, this is great, right? Things like this need to happen more on episodes of Raw, episodes of SmackDown, like kind of randomly, right? It needs to be anything can happen. Otherwise, you won't necessarily maintain your viewership. If you save all of these big moments for, really big events, really big PLEs. So this was great. This was very well done. And, I'm excited for the future. Now, in my preview and predictions video for Raw on Netflix, I talked about the idea of, wouldn't it be cool if Tiffany Stratton cashed in on the Liv versus Rhea match rather than on Nia Jax? I think there was some really cool storytelling potential there, but I didn't think it was super likely to happen, to be fair. They've been teasing tension with Nia Jax for some time, so this is a more logical step in the story, right? It's the next chapter in that story that's being told, and it fits very well. And it's not always a bad thing to necessarily follow the more logical storytelling, right? After all, at its core, that's what this is. This is storytelling. So now what, right? What happens going forward, right? Well, I think it's safe to say that Nia Jax is going to want a rematch, that they're going to have a little bit of a feud. I don't particularly see this feud lasting all the way through WrestleMania. They're probably going to have a match at the Royal Rumble. And maybe Nia will, find her way into the Elimination Chamber after that. Hoping to get one more shot. So they could stretch this to WrestleMania. I just don't think it's likely, right? What I do think is going to happen after Tiffany Stratton defeats Nia Jax more soundly at the Royal Rumble, 1, 2, 3, right? That's the way it should go. She's going to feud into WrestleMania with either Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair, right? Neither of them are around right now. However, realistically, one or both of them could return as early as tomorrow night on Raw on Netflix. If both of them don't return, or neither of them return this Monday, then by the Royal Rumble for sure, right? I fully expect one of them tomorrow, one of them at the Rumble is kind of what I think is going to happen, right? You spread the surprises out a little bit. But, I think that realistically, we're going to have Rhea regain her title tomorrow night. Tiffany just won it now. And we have both Becky and Charlotte, win the Rumble and the Chamber matches respectively. And those are our 2 championship matches into WrestleMania. Now, which one would be better for Miss WWE Champion, Miss Tiffany Stratton, for the former Miss Money in the Bank? Right? I think there's an argument to be made for either, right? She had a really nice feud with Becky in NXT. Or I heard that the matches were pretty good. I actually haven't gone back and watched them. Not a big NXT guy, honestly. But I think, personally, I would rather see her face Charlotte Flair. I think that that match just has a little bit more oomph to it, right? Especially knowing that she and Becky feuded so recently. I think this just feels fresher. And I just think that this is the direction that I would go, right? Charlotte's got a bit of history with Nia as it is. So having her kind of insert herself here without Nia fully removing herself from the picture makes more sense logically from a storytelling perspective. The downside, the reason that I would want to see a Becky Lynch as well is because Becky Lynch also has a lot more history with Rhea Ripley. And that was the match at last year's WrestleMania. And I don't know that I want to see that repeated again immediately, this year, the next year. We just got back-to-back Cody versus Romans. Do we need back-to-back Becky versus Rhea's? Right, but that has a lot less to do with Tiffany Stratton herself. And I think toppling somebody with the pedigree of Charlotte Flair would mean a lot more for Tiffany Stratton. And then next time there's a draft, things could get shuffled around, and she could face Becky Lynch before the year is up. I think both would be great for her. But either way, it was a huge moment on a huge episode of Smackdown that really set the tone going into Raw on Netflix, really set the tone for the Royal Rumble, and really set the tone for the road to WrestleMania. It couldn't have happened at a better time. I'm so very glad that they didn't hold the briefcase until WrestleMania. That is something that I don't want to see happen consistently, right? It was awesome when Seth did it, and then just last year, Damian Priest did it, and honestly, I don't think that really packed the punch that they were hoping it would. It felt more, if anything, like it watered down Seth's moment. And I don't want this to be a consistent thing going forward. So I'm glad it didn't happen here. From a storytelling perspective, it was the right moment, as they had teased tensions often enough between Nia and Tiffany Stratton. And there are a lot of moving parts on SmackDown now, if Jade Cargill comes back, if Bianca Belair or Naomi were the one who attacked her, if Nia Jax was the one that attacked her, those stories have crossed a little bit as it is. There's a lot of potential here going forward into WrestleMania, even though I think Charlotte Flair would be the best option, though it realistically could be Charlotte or Becky. There are enough moving pieces that you could have a final 5, final 6 in the Rumble match that all realistically could be facing Tiffany Stratton for the title, and that makes it hard to predict, and that makes it really exciting. So this was the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, and I am so excited for WWE programming going forward. I think this really injected a lot of life into a increasingly growing stale women's division on SmackDown, and we're heading into the most important time of the year with the road to WrestleMania, and this is awesome. So guys, what do you think? Are you excited to see Tiffany Stratton as your Women's World Champion? And who do you think is going to be, or at least should be, her WrestleMania opponent? Let me know in the comments who you want to see her face at WrestleMania. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.